Hello and welcome to Allegedly Astrology. Each week we break down the astrology that happened during some of the biggest scandals and events in history. And this is our Minisode where we do a quick chart on a trending news topic. So Dana, what are we talking about today?
Keke Palmer and Sean Evans, and this was a request from friend of the pod, Kathleen. Kathleen, you know who you are.
Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, I don't know if this is in the news, but it's in the internet ether, which is basically the same thing as the news, right?
The algo.
At this point, at this juncture. In the algo. It's big, allegedly in the algo. Oh, maybe we should rename the title of this.
I like that, actually, yeah.
All right, we'll think about it. But Keke Palmer and Hot Ones host Sean Evans have fueled dating rumors since their first meeting in 2017. But their chemistry recently made headlines when Sean appeared on Keke's podcast, where they were very flirty. And since then, the internet has been shipping them very hard. So let's check out their astrology and see if they have what it takes to couple up. And I have to say, I really didn't see this one coming. Dana, did you?
I feel like somewhere in the halls of my mind, I knew that they had good chemistry on their first, or maybe on a, I remember the picture, I think it was her second Hot Ones appearance, where she's wearing this tight white dress, and they took a really cute picture together.
Interesting.
The one that I'm imagining, she's wearing this really hot tight white dress, and I'm pretty sure it's post-COVID. But I don't know everything. But yeah, no, it's like a really cute. They'll do something afterward. I think they kissed on it to be silly, but also not like they didn't go full tongue, but they smooched or something, if I remember correctly.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Keke and Sean Evans are longtime friends, but they first met when she appeared on Hot Ones for the first time of many in 2017. And if you're not familiar, Hot Ones is a popular YouTube show where Sean interviews celebrities as they eat increasingly hot chicken wings. My favorite meme from that is the Jennifer Lawrence one.
Oh, yeah. That was also the first time I was like, he's hot. When he's like,
really?
I mean,
that's so.
What does she say?
I think he's from Chicago.
He was born in Evanston, but I think he grew up in Lake Zurich. And she was born in Harvey, Illinois, right near Chicago.
Keke.
Yeah. But I don't know how long she lived here for.
Yeah, Keke.
I feel like she was a child star.
She's a child star, but she's an actress, TV personality, singer. She's just everything.
She's so smart. She's like one of the most beautiful people who've ever been alive.
Yes.
Smart and pretty.
Basically, when Keke came on the first time, the episode was a big deal for her because she went viral for her answers. She got memed, which is, again, if you don't go on Hot Wings and end up with a meme, did you even go on Hot Wings?
Hot Ones?
Or Hot
I should just be called Hot Wings.
Hot Wings.
It's fine.
I meant Hot Ones. But anyway, what was going on when they first met, or at least when the published date was?
I have a bunch of charts. So we looked at first the published date of their first podcast episode, or Hot Ones episode, and that was April 6, 2017 at 9 a.m. in New York. And that chart has an Aries sun, a Leo moon, and a Gemini rising. So Gemini is a sign of fun conversations. That's like setting the tone. The rising sets the tone. And Aries and Leo are fire signs. In other words, they're bold as hell, fiery, passion.
It's just a really fun chart.
It is fun.
The first thing I thought when I saw that big three is just like, ooh, fun.
Yes.
I would like to, if this was a person, I would like to know that.
For sure. Yeah, it's just excellent for like viral, flirty banter. And then Mercury stationed retrograde 3 days later in Taurus. So when Mercury is stationing retrograde, there could be delays, especially regarding communication. So I also tried to see if I could find out like when they recorded. And I found like an interview with Sean where he said they try to record about 10 days in advance of posting. So I just looked at the new moon, which was 10 days earlier. So it was like March 27th, 2017. And it was a new moon in Aries. And it's conjunct Venus retrograde. So it's also, this is a love that maybe will be revisited, but it's brand new love as well. And it's with Uranus and Mercury too. So Uranus is, wow, I didn't expect that. And Mercury is conversations. And it's all in Aries, which, by the way, the sign of hot, like literally fire, Hot Ones. I love it.
Okay.
And so before we get into their individual charts, I ran their composite chart. Their composite chart has a Cancer sun and rising and a Sagittarius moon. So the new moon conjunct Venus retrograde probably when they recorded, is conjunct the composite midheaven. And the midheaven is a point of publicity, being viral. And then Saturn is conjunct composite Jupiter in Sagittarius in the sixth house. And Saturn is time, Jupiter is opportunity, the sixth house is obligation. So this is literally like they were brought together by work obligations. But Jupiter, I mean, along with being opportunity, is also feeling good, goodwill. It's like a good feeling for them. And Saturn also is the ruler of Capricorn, which is the seventh house of their composite chart, which is the house of marriage and partnerships. So then I looked at Keke's chart, and she was born August 26, 1993 at 3 a.m. in Harvey, Illinois. And she has a Virgo sun, a Sagittarius moon, just like us, and a Cancer rising. And she has Venus on her ascendant, which is like being beautiful, wonderful, being like very attractive, alluring, attracting people to you. And so these transits, I looked at the new moon against her chart. So the North Node was in Virgo, conjunct her natal sun and Mercury. So the North Node is a point of fate. These are fated moments. It's increasing her fame and star power, and maybe she'll change some goals. But in any event, this is definitely about fate. And with the sun being there, it's warmth. With Mercury being there, it's conversational. So maybe she's talking to herself. Maybe she called up her siblings afterwards and let them know she had a really fun time with this guy, Sean. Anyway, I'm fanficking. Also, Saturn was conjunct her moon on this day. So this is a tough transit on its own, and anyone going through it should look up Sade Sati, Sade Sati for more info. I'm not going to talk about why it's tough today. What I love about it is that since Keke is a Cancer rising and a Capricorn descendant, and these signs are ruled by the moon and Saturn respectively, and Saturn only hits your natal moon every 28 years, this is a rare union when her seventh house ruler, again, the ruler of marriage and long-term committed partnerships, is on top of her natal chart ruler, i.e. the planet that represents her in the chart. So it's like her little game piece. So Saturn there, it's wow.
Ooh.
I'm sure maybe she had another important relationship this year, but really, since I loved the clip I saw so much of them, I'm saying this was for Sean. And then finally, it was her Jupiter return in Libra. So it's a time of opportunity. And Libra is a sign of relationship. So this could be like an especially opportune time for relationships. It's really lovely in general. And then Sean. So Sean was born April 26, 1986 at 9:50 a.m. in Evanston. And he has a Taurus sun and then also has a Sagittarius moon and a Cancer rising. So we'll get into that later, but that's pretty cool. Their risings are like tightly conjunct. So just like Keke, the new moon in Aries is conjunct his natal midheaven because they also have the same midheaven. And that's, again, the point of publicity. And then Neptune was conjunct his natal Jupiter. Jupiter is goodwill and opportunities, and Neptune is literally intoxicating. And Neptune and Jupiter both relate to what is sacred. So this could be like, wow, that felt really good. And then finally, this one, it's called a Davison chart. So it's a relationship chart, and you can look up Davison chart. But Davison chart is like the midpoints based in space and time. So their Davison chart is December 25th, 1989 at 11:55.
So it's basically you're taking their two
Right,
charts
yeah.
and meeting that,
Yeah.
finding what's exactly
And
in
it
the middle.
uses the latitude and longitude, the dates. So it's based on a real time that happened. So this one, December 25th, 1989, Christmas. What a gift. And it's 11:55 p.m. Universal Time. And then, so this was their progressed lunar return. So it was almost exact. And the progressed lunar return is a very fated moment. I've met a handful of people on the progressed lunar return of a Davison chart. So something to look into. One more hot tip for this episode of Hot Ones. So yeah, they have a lot going on.
Bring on all the hot tips. Okay, they do have a lot going on. But the story doesn't end there. After her Hot Ones appearance, Sean called her the perfect guest, praising her charisma, intelligence, and beauty, and he would even admit that Keke was his all-time celebrity crush.
Oh my God.
And we can confirm that Keke has made 3 appearances on Hot Ones, which is crazy. I wonder how many guests have actually done that. That's nuts.
Same.
But the latest one was in 2025, where she brought up his comments about her and then asked to have a quick smooch to see if there was a spark. So you were right, Dana. They did kiss.
Oh my God, I love it.
I wonder if there was a like a spicy sauce on their lips. And then Sean agreed, and the internet went crazy, which then brings us to 2026 when Sean was a guest on Keke's podcast. And Keke introduced him as a potential
Hot.
suitor, and they discussed their long friendship and chemistry, which is crazy. So this is like where all the recent memes, been a lot of recent memes of that kind of coming up. People are like, okay, you two, should you just date already? At one point, Sean even admitted that his celebrity crush was TLC's Left Eye. And Keke responded by saying, I played Chili in the Crazy Sexy Cool, the TLC story movie, close enough. To which Sean said, absolutely
Yeah, it
close
was so
enough. Oh
cute.
my
He said, "From where I
God.
sit."
So much like
I watched
winky.
the clip that Kathleen sent at least 8 times, and I should just watch the podcast episode, but
I know, we should
someday.
watch the whole episode. I've only seen the
Yeah,
clips.
same.
But the clips were enough to confirm something's
They're so
going on
sweet.
there. They are. So what was going on when Sean appeared on Keke's podcast?
So this episode was published May 26, 2026 in Los Angeles, and it was at 6 a.m. Los Angeles time. So it was Gemini sun and rising and a Libra moon. So the sun in chatty Gemini and the moon's in Libra, the sign of relationships. The sun trines the moon. It's in air signs. These are social signs, literally the signs of social, of people and relationships. And both Gemini and Libra are specifically about relationships, whereas the third air sign, Aquarius, also about relationships, but more about relationships at large, groups of people. So, looking at one of my favorite ways to do anything with astrology and relationships, I'm giving away all my trade secrets today, is looking at the inception chart of the relationship. So, just looking at the chart from when they first published the show versus this one. So, the April 6, 2017 chart versus May 26, 2026. And I didn't use the new moon one because I'm using the published dates because these are both confirmed published dates. So, it's the nodal opposition, literally so tight. So the nodes are an axis of fate beyond human control. The nodal opposition links these two moments together in time. Literally, it's a fated reunion. And then it's the Mars return of when they first did the first episode of Hot Ones. So it's Mars is in Taurus. It's a sign of security. Mars is about pursuit, action, and sexual pursuit, among other things, and then reigniting the original energy of that Hot Ones episode. So it's also the Jupiter square of the first episode. So it's the closing square. Jupiter in Cancer is squaring where was in Libra when they did the first Hot Ones episode. So Jupiter is a planet of goodwill towards others. It's about feeling good. It's about a little excess. And then squares are they're pivot points in a cycle. So they force action in the original plot. And then Mars is also conjunct where Mercury was when they first met. So it's also reigniting that banter. And it's in Taurus. So it's about marriage. Wouldn't it be funny if we were married? And then looking at the transits to their composite chart. So Jupiter is conjunct the composite rising sign, and then also each of their rising signs, because his rising sign is 23 degrees Cancer, hers is 25, their composite is 24 degrees Cancer. This is wild. Jupiter was at 23 degrees Cancer when this episode was published. So this is a transit that only happens once every 12 years. In other words, it's pretty rare. And it's about feeling really good. And it's also, they're popular with one another, popular online. It's an opportunity to explore themselves as well as this relationship. Jupiter also can turn things on, so it can be a trigger. So maybe it was reigniting a special relationship moment. And then Neptune in Aries is conjunct the midheaven of the composite chart. So Neptune's confusion. The midheaven is publicity. It's will they, won't they, are they, aren't they? I really want something to happen. And then it's the Mercury return of the composite chart. So there's also them having cute little conversations. And then just looking at Sean's transits, Jupiter, again, is conjunct his ascendant. But then Mars is conjunct his natal sun in Taurus in his 11th house, and he's pursuing Keke. Remember, Mars is the planet of pursuit in Taurus. So it's like intimate. They had a producer and everyone there, but the conversation was clearly intimate. But it's in his 11th house, so it's seen by an audience. It's also him doing it on a stage. I don't know. He was bold too. Mars on the sun. It makes you more bold, which I love. And then Saturn is conjunct his natal Mercury in Aries. So he's saying things he really means. Saturn's about commitment. Mercury's about communication. But it's also in Aries. So impulsive, forward. I love it. Not really beating around the bush. And then on May 16th, so 10 days before the episode was posted, there was a new moon conjunct his natal Venus, which is new romance. And then 5 days later, on May 31st, there was a full moon conjunct his natal moon Saturn conjunction in Sagittarius. So this is italic, bold, underlined, significant. The moon rules his first house, Saturn rules his seventh house. Full moons are culmination points. It's coming together. It's really shining a light on what could be a relationship. I think he thought about it later. And then for Keke's transits, the moon was conjunct her natal Mars and Jupiter in Libra, her Mars-Jupiter conjunction, which is an awesome conjunction. So this is getting hit on. It's playful banter. It's romance hour. It's like the time of maybe really thinking, oh, how was it? Also, Kathleen, a friend of the show, said she thinks that Sean's really into it and she's not sure if Keke's totally into it romantically. And with the moon being in Libra and then highlighting this, Libra's not decisive, really. It could be like, oh, but what about these other opportunities that, or this other guy I'm talking to? I don't know, that type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, she still likes to flirt.
Yeah, she's good at it. She's so cute. They're so cute.
She's good at it.
He's really cute. It seems like he's on her level intellectually, which, as far as her being out of his league, yes, agree. But an intellectual match, great. Hard to come by. And then the South Node was conjunct her natal Sun and Mercury. So remember, the North Node was conjunct her Sun and Mercury when they first met in 2017. So yeah, this is a callback to 2017. The nodes are points of fate. And so maybe it's new feelings about an old situation or bringing back to an old situation and having new conversations. Either way, it's fated moments. And then that May 31st full moon in Sagittarius was conjunct her natal North Node, a point of fate. So again, so a culmination around fate.
Okay.
You love to see it.
Okay. We love to see it. So obviously the internet and us here at Allegedly Astrology are with this wholesome crush that we're witnessing in real time, which is so fun for us. So let's look at their synastry to see if they're just playing us for likes or if there's something really there. And Dana, also remind us what the difference between the synastry and the Davison chart is.
Okay. So the synastry is, we compare their two birth charts together. And we look at how their planets interact with each other via aspect, and then also what houses they're in. For them, they have the same houses because they have the same rising sign. So I looked less at houses and more at the aspects. And then a composite chart finds the midpoints of each. So it's not based on any real chart that happened. And then the Davison chart is it's a midpoint in time. So it finds the dates between, and the dates and the latitude. And then, so his big three is Taurus sun. Her sun is in Virgo, and they both have a Sagittarius moon and a Cancer rising. So both of them have the same chart ruler too. Both of since Cancer is ruled by the moon, and both of them have the moon in Sagittarius. In their sixth house, they're both like consummate professionals. The sixth house is a house of obligations. They know how to do things that have to be done, which is great, especially because she's a mother, and if she's going to be dating someone, they need to be able to, I don't know. He does have dad energy, I think. Good dad energy. Just basing off what I saw. So yeah, their big three synastry, pretty off the chains, as you could say. Their ascendants and midheavens and moons are conjunct. So the moon is comfort, safety. It's like what you need to feel secure. And again, it's also their chart rulers. And the ascendant is literally like them as a person. It's their perspective, things from. It's your lens, the lens that you look through life. And it's also health and physical body. So they'll be in tune, especially with the moon being so much about rhythm. And then the midheaven is publicity and fame. It's their career, which these keep coinciding in time. And then conjunctions are like the same. So they see eye to eye. They function similarly. They'll go through hard time. They'll go through things at the same time. Like you and Danton, your husband, both have Capricorn risings. And I love that.
Yes, I like to say we're literally on the same page all the time, whether we like it or not.
And then their suns trine each other in earth signs. So his sun is in Taurus. It's applying to her sun in Virgo. Trines make it easy to be together. And then it's the sun, so it's like warm. They're fond of one another. They are good at encouraging one another. They make each other feel good about themselves, and they can see who the other one is. Also, I'm not a numerologist, but they are both born on the 26th day. So someone could play with that. And then their Venuses sextile each other. So a sextile is an aspect of trying. and then seeing results. So if they try, they get along fabulously. Venus is the planet of romance, love, getting along, being diplomatic. It's also art. So maybe they have similar cultural interests. And the key is trying, though. So if they never try, they'll never know. And then this is maybe the tough aspect. Their Mars squares her Mars in Libra squares his Mars in Capricorn. So the Mars in Libra is Mars her since her Mars squares his in an application, Libra comes before Capricorn. They probably have to go at Keke's pace, which could be not ambivalent necessarily, but it could go back and forth. Libras have a hard time deciding. Mars in Libra can be especially difficult, maybe not always good at deciding. But they definitely learn from one another. You probably need squares in your relationship to learn from one another. You and your husband have squaring suns. So yeah,
Mhm.
their Mars square each other. Also,
Yeah.
what makes it a little lighter is that her Jupiter in is conjunct her Mars, and so it's also squaring his Mars, which makes him feel really good.
Okay. So the pair have agreed that they want to take their chemistry to creative projects. So again, no confirmation of trying to date by any means. But they even mentioned the idea of doing a morning show together. So, Dana, what are your predictions for their partnership, both creative and romance?
So something that's convenient with having the same rising sign, and especially in such close degree, is that they will have relationship aspects at the same time because they have the same descendant, and aspects to the ascendant descendant axis have to do with relationship. On July 14th of this year, there's a new moon conjunct both of their ascendant. So that could be great for it's also the composite ascendant. So it's great for literally anything new, a new venture. It'll be separately good for each of them in terms of starting something new, but it could also be really excellent for partnerships. And then along with that, especially if they're going to be maybe the show they do together, maybe some project they do together comes out around September 26th when there's a full moon conjunct each of their natal midheavens. And full moons are about since it's an opposition, it's inherently about relationship. So they could be two new people. Look at the culmination of their this relationship in public. And then in November, there's a full moon conjunct its natal Venus. That could be really great for new relationships, getting things going. And then on January 7th, there's a new moon, January 7th, 2027, hopefully, obviously. A new moon conjunct his natal Mars, which is his time lord of the year. He's in a fifth house, which is the house of romance year. So that could be good for, again, new romance. Maybe things get going around New Year's Eve. He had some nice aspects on New Year's Eve, I remember. And then Keke's solar return in 2026 coincides with the lunar eclipse in Pisces. So her birthday's the 26th. The lunar eclipse in Pisces is the 27th. Oh, this is just going to be a fated year no matter what for her. But since it's a lunar return and it's in her natal ninth house, it could also be with regards to relationship. And then October 10th, there's a new moon conjunct her natal Jupiter and Mars. It could be good for romance. And then January, the same month that Sean has a new moon conjunct his natal Mars, that Time Lord, the planet it's driving the ship this year for him. On January 22nd, there's a full moon conjunct Keke's Venus, which is great for romance. It's also near both of their ascendants, so that could be like, hey, the sun will be on the natal descendant, the moon will be on their ascendant. It could be like, wow, we're really seeing one another together. But yeah, just some other notes. Sean was born 2 days after a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. He is an eclipse baby, so eclipses could be specific times for him to get action, or things could really happen for him around eclipses. So those are happening during Aquarius and Leo season. In general, coming up for them, I really that they met with Jupiter, or that this was released with Jupiter on their ascendants. That seems like a great and auspicious aspect, either for work or for play. So I wish them well, and I would love to watch this culminate.
What does your gut say? Do you think that this is going to be a real relationship or more of a creative partnership?
I think Kathleen's intuition's really good, so I never even questioned whether or not it was a relationship. When I watched it, I was like, they're in love. I love it. But then I thought, yeah, maybe her saying, yeah, let's do more creative partnerships, because They obviously know they could probably make money from the virality or whatever, help each other. But I think it could definitely blossom into a romance, a real romance. In 2027, there's a lunar eclipse conjunct both of their descendants. Great for okay, things happening in a relationship. It's also a point of realization. Oh, we're realizing that this is a relationship.
When you said moving at Keke's pace, this seems more like a 2027 thing. Maybe a slower
Yeah.
burn, not necessarily we're going to wake up this fall and they're going to be dating.
Yeah, his Mars is in Capricorn, which is okay with a slow pace. He's waited 9 years. There's a lunar eclipse in August 17th, 2027 in Aquarius. It's conjunct her natal Saturn, which is the ruler of her 7th house. So between summer 2027 for Keke is romance central, probably. Or some really significant new brand partnerships. But I want it to be romance because I want to watch something cute. I want to look forward to that.
Yeah.
He's so sweet
Right.
and she's so cool.
We'll see how this all shakes out between now and next summer. But thank you guys so much for listening to our Allegedly in the News / Allegedly in the Out. And I'm Elise,
Dana.
and this is Allegedly Astrology.
I loved at the end when she said Mr. and Mrs. Evans, and then he said, "Oh, I thought you were talking about us." It's so cute. Okay, this was fun.